And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth. Get amazing services. Thank you.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. But this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 368 of the New York Knicks Podcast, part of the Almighty Ballin' Podcast Network. I am Jay, and with me is Mark.
Hey, what's going on? Let me pose a question to you. So just show you where we are. Since last show, the Knicks have won 2 games. They beat the Pacers. They lost to the Mavericks, then beat the Hornets, and then went to quadruple overtime to make their fans cry against the Hawks. Here's the question to you. Mm-hmm. This week also, this was the week where the trade rumors leaked / dropped that Phil is actively shopping Melo.
Yes.
Do you think the Zen Master has decided to drop these rumors as a way to get up Melo's play? He's not communicating with him. He's not getting through the Melo. So I'm going to do the ultimate. I'm trying to get rid of you. And Melo's like, I will up my game. Because Melo's playing pretty well the last couple games.
You know when the last time Melo's numbers spiked?
When was the last time his numbers spiked?
Right before he got traded to the Knicks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He's putting up almost the exact same numbers as that.
Yeah. So Denver's getting their player back, their prodigal son.
Do you think we could get Gallinari and Wilson Chandler for him?
Not the draft picks, but maybe for Wilson and Gallinari, maybe. He's got the no trade clause, so he's never ever going back to.
No, there's
Denver.
no way he'd go to Denver.
Well, I do think if George Karl took back over Denver, he'd go there because him and George Karl are basically best friends now.
Yeah. So the rumor was the Knicks reached out to the Cavs, Boston, and the Clippers.
Yeah, and supposedly Melo has, in some through Charlie Rose or some other source, or he sent smoke signals that these teams could be okay for him.
Right, but Boston already came back and said no. And Cleveland said no for Kevin Love.
I don't understand. Boston said, why is everything announced? Why aren't trades done behind closed doors? You don't find out them much later.
Yeah, remember with the Tyson Chandler trade where we had no idea that was happening until it actually happened?
Most of these trades, the one thing Phil's been good at has been, besides using his number 4 pick in the draft well, has been kind of keeping things under wrap till he kind of releases them in the last second.
Right. I guess
even this offseason, the Rose and Noah stuff were a day or two ahead of time.
Yeah. But I guess with somebody like Melo, it's really hard to keep this under wraps. That's pretty big.
Do you think maybe Phil is leaking this stuff? I mean, he's leaking the front end, the idea that the trades are like I'm shopping him to kind of get Melo to play well, so either ups his trade value, or if we don't make the trade, then I don't look so bad because he's playing well, or
No, I don't think any of that. I think maybe finally Phil realized that this team is not a championship caliber team.
Why aren't we hearing the rumors though about him trying to trade Derrick Rose or Courtney Lee? I mean, Courtney Lee's playing really well, by the way. But I just meant why aren't we hearing him trying to we're all sellers, fire sale, we're going young? Why don't we hear that rumor?
Well, Courtney Lee, I think, he's not going to be a major trade piece. He's a good piece to have. He's a good defender. He's a good 3-point shooter. But I don't think you're going to get a huge haul for him.
You don't think you can get a first-round pick for him?
Um,
Pretty reasonable. He's on a very reasonable contract. He's playing pretty decently. If you're a good team and you're trying to get better, you probably could use him.
Yeah, I mean, you could get a first-rounder maybe if it's from a really good team where it's going to be a low pick, but you're not going to get a top 15.
Oh, no,
top
that's
10.
totally. I meant like back end of the draft, 20 to 30. You probably can get that and maybe a second-round pick. And that might be worth it in the sense of if we're not going to be good the next couple of years and we want to tank, hey, the more picks, the better.
Yeah.
I mean, Courtney Lee's probably the hardest to part with because, like, with the contract, he's playing pretty well lately. You could use him. You would like to keep him in some ways.
You might want to keep him, and also you might want to see what's going on with Melo before you decide to announce you're trading everybody on the roster.
I mean,
there's no point in trading everybody and then keeping Melo.
Well, if you start trading everyone, you're like, Melo, everyone good is gone. You're gonna open your doors for another couple teams?
Yeah, I mean, there is that. Also, smaller pieces like that never go much before a couple days before the trade deadline. So we probably have a couple weeks before we hear anything about that.
You could see like San Antonio being a big fan of getting him. Like a good team with he's a solid player, but not. So the Melo issue, I think the Celtics, it's the salary which comes crazy. It's not only what his current salary is, it's the trade kicker also, which makes it really hard to trade him, and which also means it may be a lot easier to trade him in the summer than trading him now.
I got to say, I am not upset that it looks like we're not going to get Love.
Oh, I was never a fan. I didn't understand that. Melo is a better player than Kevin Love. I don't know why you would trade him for a player that's, I mean, he's a little bit younger, but it doesn't really add that much to your team. I don't know how that's rebuilding.
It's like Love's not a good defender anyway. So, like, part of our problem is that we're not good on defense. So trading for another poor defender doesn't seem to make sense.
Did you just screw with your microphone for no reason?
No, why? Does it sound better or worse?
It sounds worse. Like, are you doing the show from a cave because you're hiding out from Melo?
How about now?
Still, what did you do?
I didn't do anything.
You sound weird. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Should be fine.
Okay.
What about now?
That's better.
Okay.
Just checking. We have to. I mean, the Knicks may be falling apart, but the podcast is not falling apart.
See, this is the difference. This is why we've lasted so long, and the Knicks keep rotating players in and out.
You're sounding bad again. What are you doing?
I'm going to unplug my mic and plug it back in.
Okay.
All right. And now? No?
Okay. Now you're saying okay.
Okay, good.
Say something else. Talk about how much you hate Melo.
No, I was just saying trading for a guy like Love doesn't solve any of our problems.
You still sound weird. I don't know what it is. You sounded much more normal before. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I just got to be closer to the mic.
Okay. So Kevin Love, So also, let's just talk about for a second. There's a lot of there's two sides of the fence right here. There's the Melo people that love Melo and the people that hate Melo. And not hate Melo, the people that say we have to rebuild, and there's a certain segment of people that blame Melo for where we are, and there's a certain segment of people that say you say anything about Melo, you want to trade him. Well, it's not his fault. You're surrounded by 300 players and 4 team presidents, 4 coaches, whatever. It's not exactly a great situation for him to succeed in.
That's the thing. Before people say that we hate Melo, we don't hate Melo. He's a really good player. The point of our argument is that he's 32. He's past. You can't deny he's past his prime. He's still great, but he's past his prime, and we're nowhere near a championship. So there's no point in keeping a player like him when we need to just go young and do a real rebuild.
Right. I think Melo has done a lot for the franchise. He's done a lot of the core. He's been the best player the whole time he's here. He's been a great scorer. His defense has been frustrating at times, but last couple of games, his defense hasn't been quite as bad.
And he's put up with a lot of crap from the media, from the fans, and he's pretty much been quiet. Can you imagine if Cousins was in this situation?
But the thing is, he's been set up to fail between the media, between the way these teams have been designed, asking to play the trying, all these different things that are everything's changing every year, a whole new cast. It is almost impossible for him to succeed in this situation.
Well, I mean, the main part of the blame has to go on the organization itself. They've surrounded him with garbage.
It's all the top down. The top down, they never tried to build on stuff. I mean, I know the team was really old veterans with the 54-win team.
Yeah.
But you have to find a way to build on that or just rebuild.
I mean, the fact that they amassed a team with 5 guys over 38 was ridiculous in the first place.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that's
the best they've done.
Well, it is the best they've done, but I mean, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
It's apparently the only way the Knicks win. So maybe we should replace the young guys. We should go old. Melo, we're going to trade you for the 3 oldest guys in the league.
That would be what? Dirk, Vince Carter, Ginobili.
Is Vince still on Dallas?
Yeah, he's on Memphis. He's playing really good.
Oh, yeah. In fact, he's playing really well for 41 years old.
Yeah, oldest guy in the league. I think he just had his 40th birthday.
All right, we can put him on the Knicks. Why not? You're old. You're coming to the Knicks. We're going to go all old. Melo, everyone in the league team has to be at least 8 years older than you.
We're just recreating, 2013?
Yeah, we're going back to like an older All-Star game. We were doing 2012 All-Star game. Now we're going to do the 2008 All-Star game. Well, I guess I just want to point out like that where's the team go when they lose Melo? They get flat out worse.
Oh yeah, we're not saying. I've seen people say like, well, where's this team going to be when we lose Melo? Yeah, we're going to be terrible. That's the point.
Their record without Melo has been horrible the last couple of years. When they lose Melo, the only purpose of that strategy is to get some assets for him and start tanking now.
There's 4 supposed to be all-timer point guards in this coming draft. Our biggest weak point is point guard. We need one of those 4 guys.
I mean, it's also people are hyping these guys up, but we need a point guard. We need young players. It's not going to work. You can't just say, hey, we have Porzingis. We're done. We got Hernan Gomez. We're done. We got a couple pieces because it's where you're done at is 8th. Right now, the Knicks are in a position where they can make a little bit of run and get to the 8th seed. And it depends on what's going to satisfy you. Do you want 8th seed and then be worse next year, or maybe fight for an 8th seed, and then that's it. Our goal every year is to make the first round of the playoffs, get beat up in the first round, and be the new Atlanta Hawks.
Right. It's not that fun.
No, you want to actually really contend. You want to win 50 games a year or more. You want to have a shot at the Eastern Conference Finals every year. You want to have a chance to actually go, hey, maybe this will be our year because our team is pretty darn good. And you got to get there somehow. And for the most part, some other strategies have worked. But for the most part, being bad for a little while, building a foundation seems to work best in the history of basketball.
All right.
Okay.
Let's move on. I want to talk about the 4 overtime game.
I was just going to say that. So was there 1 overtime per time the refs royally screwed the Knicks?
It was really bad. I mean, the biggest thing for me, I've watched a lot of basketball. I've never seen a player knock the ball into the crowd and not get a technical ever.
That was even the worst? That was horrible.
I think that was the worst because that is, you could say you missed a foul call or something. You're not missing a ball gets slammed. He slammed it right in front of the ref. That is, there's no excuse for that.
Courtney Lee got tackled on the last second shot of the 3rd overtime. No foul. Every time you watch a guy shoot from 3, they barely touch him, and it's a foul. He basically got tackled in that play. No foul. I was shocked they didn't call that on Courtney Lee.
Did you see the final foul totals for the Knicks starting lineup?
What was it?
6-6-6-5-5.
And the Hawks, I think the difference was by about 20 foul difference in the game.
15, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was 39-24.
Something like that. Whatever. I'm not going to use facts. It was absurd. There were so many plays. Well, also there were a lot of plays where you'd see Schroeder drive and they'd call a foul, and you're even you didn't see the foul. They showed the replay and they were like, okay, well, whatever. It's an and one, and you're like, he had his hands straight up and he was just standing there, and that's an and one. But the Knicks just can't get fouls. There has to be some kind of. Is there a royal, some kind of big conspiracy out there?
Marconi brought up an interesting point.
Yeah.
He said that the Vegas stands to gain a lot of money if the Knicks don't hit the over-under on their win total.
I don't know.
If they don't hit the over on their win total.
Well, I mean, but isn't that true generally? There's always like places where Vegas.
No, there was. If you remember at the beginning of the season, it came out that a ton of people were betting on the Knicks, like an inordinate amount of people.
Well, it seemed like whatever number it wasn't that high of a number. And if I was in Vegas, I would have bet a bunch of money on that. We talked about at the beginning of the year how like I would totally bet money on this because the Knicks are going to top that total.
Well, a lot of people totally did. So there's your conspiracy.
Well, first of all, there's never been a thing about refs taking money, Donahue. So,
I mean,
I doubt this.
I don't like being all conspiracy theory, but this is the fourth loss in our last like 8 losses that were like shady.
I feel like it's not doesn't go that deep that it's Vegas, but I feel like it goes deep enough that the referees have some kind of unconscious bias against the Knicks. It just seems like they really, I don't know, the calls if they came out a couple of years from now that there was a big conspiracy among the refs, you wouldn't be like, oh, that makes no sense. You'd say, oh, that explains my entire like sportshood, like my entire time watching the Knicks makes so much more sense now.
Do you think Melo just like sends direct messages to refs in the middle of the night, like calling them jerks, and they just got it in for him now? I mean, there's got to be something to this.
Maybe like we'll find out like much later on, like 20 years from now, Melo like ran over the dog of a ref, and they're like, we will hold Melo accountable as soon as he leaves Denver. I don't know. Like Derrick Rose didn't get calls anymore. No one gets calls anymore. It's absurd.
Yeah, maybe he ran over the dog driving from Denver to New York.
We didn't record last night. I had this violent stomach flu, and I was throwing up so miserable. And I was quarantined off my family because my wife didn't want me like the cat. I didn't want
that
to
wasn't
catch
just a visceral reaction to the game.
I watched the entire 4 overtime game, and it was just brutal. My stomach was in pain, and I'm watching the game, and I'm like, this is making my stomach feel worse. You knew the Knicks were going to lose the game. It was just a matter of like either each regulation would end tied or Knicks losing. There was no other way for it to end.
Yeah, I kept tweeting because I was taking a study break, and I was like, just break my heart already. Do it. Get it over with. It was like a 4.5-hour game.
It was a really long game. I mean, the thing is, the Knicks have been playing better lately. They did win 2 games this year. They're looking, even the games they're losing, they're coming close. They're not, and this is what the problem is also. You're in a place where they can win a few and had a shot at the 8th seed, and people will have, quote, hope.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, though, like, what are you doing getting down to, like, the last shot against an Orlando team? Like, why are you even in that position?
Why aren't you just winning some games by 10, 15 points? Like, Not every game should come down to the last. Like,
exactly. I mean, they're up by 14 points. They're up by 16 points. And it comes down to the last shot. Like, how does that happen every time?
What's their record now? Are they 7 under?
Yeah, 21 and 28.
So they're 21 and 28 at this point. We were raving about the point of the year when they were 14 and 8, 14 and. The Knicks have to play 7 games over 500 just to get 500 the rest of the way. What makes you think after seeing all this, the Knicks are going to go on that kind of run?
Right.
So Derek Fisher had said basically he did more. He came out. He was talking about the Knicks. He said he did more with less last year. What do you think?
I think the man speaks the truth.
Knicks have a lot of talent, supposedly on the roster.
I mean, they fired him when they were, what, 22 and 22, and then went on a losing streak, and then he got fired?
Do you think he got unfairly fired? I mean, it seems like he got fired more for the Matt Barnes stuff.
I think so. I mean, you don't go on one losing streak and then get fired. I think it was more behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, I have to say that. I just don't think he would have been, like, I think if the Matt Barnes stuff doesn't happen, he would have kept his job at least through the rest of the season.
Not that I thought he was doing a good job. We were calling for his firing.
Yeah, no, he was doing a mediocre job, but the team was playing. At some point, they were 23 and 23, and they were playing above what you thought they would play.
Yeah.
And then they came back down to earth. It was 22 and 22. I forgot the exact where it was.
Yeah, I think it was 22 and 22, and then they went on a losing streak, and then he got fired.
Yeah, and there has to be some other stuff that had like went unreported that happened. I don't know. It was also a tough position because Phil comes in there and goes, "I am the Zen master. You will teach everything I teach without commanding the respect I command."
Yeah.
which is a really tough thing to do. And you bring Hornacek in, you're like, okay, teach the triangle. Hornacek's like, I guess. And the players just aren't buying into it, but you want this system. You don't stress. You sign some bad contracts. The Noah thing is obviously so last night, Noah played like 40 minutes. He played pretty decently in last game. No question, right?
Yeah, he played 41 minutes, and he looked pretty good.
He looked decent out there. You can't argue that he didn't look decent. I don't think he's worth his money, and I don't think he'll play like this a lot. And lately, he hasn't been able to get on the court in the fourth quarter. Our coaches have thought very little of him lately.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Hernan Gomez, young, a rookie, did not play. Yet he's been playing pretty well lately. Now, there's either Noah's crowding out his minutes, or Hernan Gomez, they're trying to protect him and play him less minutes. I'm not really sure.
No, maybe in a 4 overtime game, you're not protecting him his minutes by playing him 3 minutes.
Well,
especially when you got a guy like Noah who is made of glass and you play him 41 minutes.
But you're not trying to protect Noah, I guess. Well, the argument is that if you're going to sit a guy, just sit a guy. Don't play him for 3 minutes because then he has to get ready for the game. You could just say, "Hey, we're resting you tonight." That's it. And also, they had an off day in between. I don't know why
Hernan Gomez played really well against Dwight Howard in the last time they played.
Yeah, also, not that, let's just say, you could make the argument Noah played well, and maybe Hernan Gomez wouldn't have played better, but for our future, who's more important? Developing Hernan Gomez is so much more important for our future than Noah playing well. We've already locked in the fact that Noah's contract is going to be pretty brutal the next couple of years.
Right.
So that's just kind of annoying. Oh, so the other thing from the game, Dwight Howard levels KP. Knicks are like, that's cool. I don't know. The 90s Knicks would not have been cool with that.
No, definitely not. Although you were allowed to punch somebody in the face in the 90s, and the refs were like, don't punch him in the face again.
I know at least Noah could come out and do that. Hey, Noah, you're the old school guy on our team. Just foul him really hard on the next play and go, oh, sorry. That's just a regular flagrant one.
Right.
I don't know. It just seemed like your future of your franchise just got thrown on his ass. And the Knicks were like, that's cool. Also, have you noticed that KP has become basically just a spot-up shooter?
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know if it's what they're running, but it seems like KP doesn't know what he's doing on offense and defense. Like last year, he was a rookie and he was really good on defense, and it seems like he has no idea what he's doing now.
That one play where he got popped on offense, yeah, he seemed a little lost on defense. And offense, that one play, it was the one play of the entire game. They hit KP while he was moving, and he dunked. And you hit him in traffic when he's moving, he is become a very good finisher and looks great. But the Knicks just don't do that. Yeah. They don't design plays to get him open.
He's also got to learn how to shoot over much shorter players. Like, you can't put a point guard on him and have him, and then he's not able to shoot over the guy.
Yeah, he does these fadeaway turnaround jump. He's just the Melo shots. Melo's very good at doing those shots. I don't need KP to be a spot up bad shooter, a bad shots shooter. I need him to get better shots.
Yeah,
he does a lot. There's a lot of him standing around on offense, just waiting, trying to post up. I feel like his development is being kind of put on the back burner this year.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's playing hurt or it's just the scheme of the way everything's going. I don't know.
I just want a scheme that kind of really develops him. It's hard. He does when you have Noah, him, and Melo out on the floor, it doesn't really work. It's too many big guys crowding this floor. But you also should design plays for him when, first of all, don't have the floor that crowded when he's on it. And just design more plays for him. I don't know.
It's got to be hard coaching this team. I mean, there's so many lineups that don't work. You can't have Jennings and Rose on the court because those two can't defend anybody. You can't have Noah and any other big guy on the floor.
All our centers suck at defense. There's so many.
Yeah, it's none of our point guards can create plays off the dribble, and none of our centers can defend. So it's the two most important positions are just broken.
And trade Rose now. I mean, did you really even need Rose in the Atlanta game? I mean, Jennings played fine. I want to trade Jennings too, but like, it doesn't seem like we're like missing that much not having Rose on the floor.
Right. We trash Jennings all season, and then when he starts, we like don't miss Rose at all.
I think you made some comment, which he plays better when he starts though. You made some comment on Twitter. It was like when Rose went down, you were like, "Wait, if Rose is out of the game, who's not going to guard Kemba Walker now?"
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's a pretty good one. I mean, Rose's defense. You can't have Rose and Melo on the floor at the same time. It's brutal when they both don't play defense at the same time.
Which is all the time.
There's a lot wrong with this team. This is why I feel like you're going to win. You need to lay a better. I feel like you also need young guys because you need guys that are coachable. This team is half this team is not coachable anymore.
Right.
And Hornacek's not getting through them. I don't want to fire Hornacek, but I want to empower him to really run this team with guys that he could bench whenever he wants, guys that have to listen to him to get playing time, and guys that have to value defense, not watch like the veterans on the team not play defense and go, well, why should I?
I just want that draft pick. It'd be so easy to tank this year.
They're not getting the Nets draft pick from the Celtics.
No, but I mean, we can move down a lot. I mean, the Heat just won their 8th in a row. The Sixers just won again today, so they're only a game behind us. We can
the
get to
Sixers
the
are
bottom.
going to have a better record than us very soon.
Oh, yeah, by All-Star break, absolutely.
Sixers won tonight without Embiid either.
They won the last couple without Embiid.
Yeah, Embiid, by the way, is. I'm not gonna say they're comparing Porzingis to Embiid, who is the better young player, but Embiid looks really good. And if you want to say Embiid's like a foot injury away from his career being over again, I mean, the same is true for Porzingis. Porzingis is pretty tall. He could be injured really easily. Embiid's healthy now. They're putting him on minute restriction, and he plays less minutes and plays awesome.
I don't know. Embiid's already missed like 16 games, though.
But they're not like missing. They're not like they're just sitting him for games. It's not he's not missing them for injury. I don't know how many he's missed for injury, but they just sit him a lot.
Hmm.
You know that, right?
No, I didn't know
they rest him every other game.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know they were doing that.
No, they've been resting him a lot. So it's not him missing games because of injuries. He may have missed a few this year by injury, but the most part they just do not play because they want to rest him because he's missed the last 2 years. This 2 years, you want to be kind of cautious,
Right.
because Philly also realizes the process really sucks if you lose Embiid.
Well, I mean, the process is just a train wreck if you lose Embiid.
Right.
I
yeah,
mean,
and I'm not.
It's not like the other picks really panned out that much.
No, but they're getting better.
Last thing we want to talk about, Knicks fans, since Melo just brought up, Chase and Randall just signed a 3-year with the Sixers.
It's not a full 3 year. I think next year is not even guaranteed.
Yeah, but they locked him up if they want him.
They locked him up if they wanted him. He has barely played for them. Hasn't played particularly done anything. But they like what they see, and they said, "We'll keep you at our option."
Right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's smart. Instead of keeping a guy like Sasha, who is completely useless, they found a young guy and they're taking a chance on him. This is the things we should be doing.
I mean, well, we're signing we're signing. In fairness, we're signing a lot of 10-day contracts. We're giving a lot of guys chances.
Is this alternate universe Knicks you're talking about?
Yeah, alternate universe. I don't understand. I just don't really understand why the Knicks, like, why is Sasha on the team? He gives veteran leadership. We don't even teach the damn triangle anymore. Just get him off the team. He's not there for the triangle. He's there because he's like, I don't know what he does for Phil. Like he's Phil's like a, I don't know what he does for Phil, but he gets to stay on the team for no good reason. Just look at the deal. What does Phil do on an everyday basis?
So look at this. Dallas signed Yogi Ferrell, a point guard, and his first game he had 9 points and 7 assists, and his second game he had 12 points and 3 assists.
2 problems here.
Yeah.
A, that seems like something the Knicks should do. But even the Knicks signed the guy, they'd probably not play him for the 10 days and go, he wasn't very good. And we have Rose and Jennings. They're the future of our franchise, even though both contracts are expiring.
Oh, that 12.3 assist game, it's going on right now. So it's only like halftime.
Oh, great. Why can't the Knicks just that's the problem also. You keep these veterans, you feel like you have to play them. Start a fire sale and rebuild. Who the hell knows if Yogi Ferrell's really good? Who the hell knows who is good? But you took a chance on Baker. He looks pretty decent. Take a chance on some guys. You need a lot to win. And the Knicks, what do you think Phil does on a regular? He's getting paid $12 goddamn million. I know it doesn't come from the salary cap. And who cares about Dolan's money? But he's getting paid $12 million a year to run the Knicks. What does he do on a regular daily basis? How much of his day is devoted to the Knicks?
I don't know, but he's definitely not making use of. I mean, we should have an open roster spot.
How many hours a week do you work, Jay?
40 to 50.
How many hours do you work while you're there?
I don't know, 5 to 7.
No one ever works a full day.
No.
Okay, let's say you work. Let's just go with 40 hours, the basic 40-hour week. We're asking for Phil for a basic 40-hour week. What in God's name is he doing for 40 hours a week? For $12 million?
He probably gets up in the morning. He calls Boston. He's like, calls the Celtics. He's like, "You guys still don't want Melo?" They're like, "No. You called yesterday and we didn't want him." And he's like, "Okay." And then he goes back to bed.
He looks up to try to find the number for Cleveland. I think they still have Kevin Love. What is he? You have to say, let's just say he's spending time devoted to that. And not that any rumors have to drop about him exploring other trades, but he should be doing that. Should he be scouting the D League, trying to find more assets, trying to figure out how to make this team better?
Like I said, it's we should have a rotating 15th spot. We should keep signing 10-day contracts. See if we get lucky. Maybe somebody pans out.
Yeah. Even good teams should have this, much as the Knicks.
Knicks fans since Melo wrote, maybe Sasha's with the Knicks so Phil can claim him as a dependent on his taxes.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I mean, that would make as much sense as anything else, right?
Okay, so Real GM has the 10 worst contracts in the NBA.
Currently?
And number 1 is Noah, so just...
it's currently, right?
Yeah, currently. So
Okay.
I'm not going to ruin the suspense. Noah gets the worst one.
Of course, well,
this,
it is.
This is a January 27th article, so pretty recent.
Yeah.
So my question here is, what contract would you take back? You would trade Rose and see if you can get a draft pick from this team to take the contract back. Tell me what you think. Is it possible? So
Wait,
the first
we
contract
trade
on the
Rose
list,
and we get a draft pick back? I mean, we trade Noah and get a draft pick back?
No, we're not Noah. Noah's staying on our team. We're not trading Noah. We're trading Rose and taking back a terrible contract. My goal, I've said before, is trade Rose, take back a horrible longer contract, and get a draft pick for doing the service and taking on the contract. What Philly has done last couple of years.
Yeah.
So what team here would be up for taking out this contract sooner? So the first one is Mike Conley has 4 years, $126 million.
Nope.
Do you think they're looking to get out of it yet?
No.
I'd say no. Okay.
Definitely not.
Okay, next one. Brandon Knight has 3 years and $44 million left from the Suns. Are the Suns looking to get out of this?
That's a possibility, yes.
He's right now on the bench. Devin Booker's playing better than him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definite possibility right there.
So the contract comes out to about $14 million a year, so it's like half of it. You still have to throw in more contracts to get Rose off the team. But would you take Brandon? I would, in a heartbeat, I'd take Brandon Knight back for a Rose.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a very good point guard, but
if you can get a draft pick,
if you get a draft pick, that draft pick's going to be good.
And he's played decent throughout his career. He could just get better.
Probably
Plus,
not,
he
but
used to. Isn't his ex-coach on the Knicks now? Was it Knight there when Hornacek was there?
I think so.
Yeah, so maybe Hornacek can get more out of him.
Yeah.
Okay. Mozgov, 3 years and $48 million from the Lakers. Are the Lakers looking to get out of this? I mean, are
probably.
they high?
They have a rookie center that just posted 2 straight double doubles.
They have to be looking to get out of this Mozgov contract. This contract was just stupid.
Yeah.
You take Mozgov back here? You think the Lakers? Their draft pick is probably too high for them to give it up, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. J.R. Smith, $44 million, 3 years. Not going to. Cleveland would probably. You think LeBron, the GM, would be up for taking Rose back?
No, I mean, look how bad Cleveland's been without JR.
I know, isn't that crazy?
It's insane.
Good thing we got nothing for him when we made the trade. Wait, but we'll give you. Okay, well, if you take Shrump, we'll throw in Jr. You'll start Jr. Okay, we'll still take nothing. Okay, Evan Turner, 3 years, 54 million.
Oof. Yeah, that'll get you a draft pick.
That's from Portland. This one I think is promising because Portland wants to get better now.
Yeah.
That money is being like lit on fire with Evan Turner right now.
Yeah.
I feel like Portland's draft pick, 17 or 18 pick in the draft, maybe a little higher, maybe a little like 20, 22. I feel like Portland should do this trade in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definite doable one.
Okay. Parsons, 3 years, $72 million. And the whole point, just for people just who are not following this, is I'm not saying these players are worth it on our end. I'm saying we're going to take back a worse contract and get a draft pick. It could be worth it, basically.
The whole point is to get another first rounder, double our chances of getting somebody good.
The player is going to be dead weight, probably. If he's better than dead weight, great. But the expectation is, well, the Knicks rebuild the next couple of years, he's dead weight.
Actually, he's helping us get a better pick next year, too.
It's just cap relief for the other team.
Yeah.
And these guys aren't that bad at players. It's just, I mean, how much worse are they going to be for us than Rose is going to be? Chandler Parsons, 3 years, $72 million. That's a lot of money he's getting.
It is. I don't think they're ready to give up on him, though.
Yeah, I'd agree. Dang, 3 years, 54.
Yeah, Lakers would get out of that in a second. Again, though, I don't know if they want it bad enough to give up one of their really good picks.
I feel like they're not ready because the Lakers have to be in a position where they're ready to sign guys to really like make that move, and I don't think they're there yet.
Yeah,
the young guys aren't good enough. Miles Plumlee, 3 years, $37 million. I think he knows. I think having two Plumlees should make you a better team.
That's Portland.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, Milwaukee.
Oh, that I get all the. They're all M's too, which is what confuses me.
What the hell's wrong with the parents?
I was gonna say the one in Portland seems to be playing better. The one in Milwaukee, yeah, I mean they would probably get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean Milwaukee. I'm surprised also they don't have on the list. I would think the worst contract they'd want to get out of would be their Monroe.
Yeah, but I think that's almost done.
Is it? It's been 2 years, right? You think it's 2 years left?
I think he only signed a 3.
Oh, okay. So you get rid of him 1 year early, may not be worth it.
Yeah.
And then Omar Asik, whatever.
Oh man, that was a complete mess. That guy fell apart.
Though I think Donald Trump has barred him from the country now.
Yeah.
3 years, $33 million. It's not terrible though in terms of
what he's doing on the court. It is.
Yeah, but New Orleans is also really bad.
Mm-hmm.
The question is like, they're not going to want to trade a draft pick if they're really bad.
Yeah,
they're getting better. I mean, they're getting better with Giroux. But and then the last one, this one, like 3 years, $55 million left. Noah. Would you trade Rose for Noah? I would do that. I might have to. Okay, so we have questions for the show.
Yeah, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Curtis writes, Millsap for Melo. It wouldn't surprise me if he went to the Hawks, assuming he would waive his no-trade clause for Atlanta. Rumors were they tried to get a deal done a few years ago. Guys generally seem to like Coach Bud, and new ownership, Grant Hill and others, is more willing to spend money. If salaries could work, Millsap and others for Melo might be good for both sides. His wife was rated DJ for years in Atlanta and is well-connected in the city. He would start and get a lot of open looks in the offense and have defenders backing him up, and he could remain the superstar of the team. I don't think there's any way Melo goes to Atlanta.
I don't think Atlanta's going to do that trade either. And Millsap's pretty good. Not that Melo's. I don't necessarily think Melo's going to. I'm forgetting whether it's worth it for either side. What's the point? Like Millsap's not like he's not 25 years old.
He's over 30, I believe.
Yeah, so I don't see what this. This is what I don't like. It's the quick fixes. It's just our franchise. Everyone's obsessed with quick fixes. Everyone's like, oh, well, if Rose is not going to work out, we'll just sign Drew Holiday or sign some other big name in the offseason. Stop with the goddamn quick fixes. It hasn't worked for 15 goddamn years. I don't know why people think it's going to suddenly work. If we sign the right combination of free agents, we can skip rebuilding. And then we can do this for 15 straight years and not call it rebuilding.
Peter writes, Hornacek at the end of the the second OT in the game against the Hawks. Horny. Okay, guys, we're going to go ISO Melo here to end the game. Coach, he fouled out. Okay, get the ball to Kristaps. Coach, he fouled out. Okay, let Derek try and drive to the basket. Coach, he's hurt. Melo's definitely out, huh? Yes, Coach. All right, then, let Melo just go to work in the post. Coach, he still fouled out. I don't have any other plays. Screw it, let Courtney jack up a 40-footer. And then Lee buries the shot from almost half court. And it says the coaching genius of Jeff Hornacek.
I mean, I could not believe he hit that shot.
Yeah.
There were some cool moments for that game. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was really good. Thank you, Peter.
Millsap's 31, by the way, and about to turn 32.
Right. So he's 1 year younger than Melo. I don't like that. Dr. Dogbreath writes, "Hi guys, what are the top 5 alternative facts that the Knicks or Phil Jackson have fed to the press? Love the show."
So the alternative facts. So if alternative facts, you're just making up your own crap. Basically, that's what the new Trump thing. Like, yeah, I see 1.5 million people out there, even though there were less, and it's been proven.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I don't want to go on the political rant. I know. But hopefully by next week's show, we don't live in a dictatorship. Anyway, you getting a little worried about Trump?
I kind of just want it all to play out. I think it's the people who voted for him deserve it. The people who didn't speak up when I don't want to get all political.
I live in the same
Listen
nation
to our
as them.
other show, The Brink of Sanity, if you want to hear.
Okay, so what's falling apart faster, our nation or the Knicks? Alternative facts about the Knicks.
You could also type in The Brink of Sanity in iTunes, and our other show comes up.
Yeah,
it's a comedy show,
which apparently we're going to be angry on. Alternative facts. Derek Fisher was fired because he didn't do a good enough job implementing the triangle.
We are happy with how our defense is progressing, and I think our Rose Jennings lineup is going to be the defensive lineup of the future.
I could do pull-ups on Noah's arm. He's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
We love Noah's form when taking free throws, and we think it's going to be the new setting trend in the future.
Could you imagine this is how Phil evaluates everyone, every center? Okay, Hernan Gomez, put up your arm. What are you doing? I've got to be able to do pull-ups in your arm, or else you don't get to stay on this team. We're going to build a sustainable winner. We're going to do it the right way. We need learners on our team.
I think the number one alternative fact was from Derrick Rose, where he said, we have a super team.
Yes. I'm going to be at every game. I don't know if he said that,
but... George writes, hey guys, how cool is it that KP kept his promise of getting his revenge on Dwight Howard after Dwight dunked on KP last season? Also, did Melo fail the Knicks, or did the Knicks fail Melo? I think it's awesome that Porzingis dunked on Dwight. It's even better that he finished after Dwight decked him.
Yeah.
And the team failed Melo.
Yeah, the team failed Melo more than Melo failed the team. He gave his all. I think he needs to go on, but it's definitely more. I mean, like, whatever we kill him for his defense, like, the thing is, I think he'd be a great addition to so many teams. Like, the Clippers are stupid for not wanting to get him on the team. I think he'd make the Celtics a lot better. It's
not like he was a lockdown defender in Denver and then he just decided not to play defense in New York. I mean, he's been what he's been since the beginning, so you can't knock him for that.
He's also, though, you put him in a position where he's your team leader. It's kind of hard having him not being that good at defense, and he does a lot of things that frustrate. I would say like 60% the Knicks, 65% Knicks, 35-40% Melo. He does a lot of stuff that drives you insane.
Yeah.
But I don't put most of the blame. If most of the blame is on, and probably higher blame on the Knicks. And it helps that he's playing pretty well right now.
Yeah.
Phil, like your end of the bargain, Melo. You have to play really well now. Oh, okay. I'm not going to dog it now. I don't know. Whatever. Okay.
Rich asked, does Melo not making the All-Star team help Jackson trade him?
Hey. No, I don't think it matters. Maybe Melo's like, okay, I don't have to wait till the All-Star game for you to trade me now. Do you think Phil Jackson just here's another? I heard this on the radio, and I thought this was a good point. Should Phil Jackson talk about the refs? You're gonna get fined. You talk about the refs, but like the refs have been really bad against the Knicks, and no one gets to speak up. Hornacek, Hornacek could be suspended probably for speaking at the refs, or at least fined, and the players can say stuff, but they're gonna get dogged in the next game. And same with Hornacek. If the refereeing is so bad anyway, shouldn't at least Phil come out and just say, "I'll take the fine"? It's been a travesty.
Yeah, I think it would say a lot that he's backing up the team.
It would be at least the time it took to write that down and like put it out there. That'd be 1 hour of the 39 of the 40 hours. Then he'd have to fill 39 hours this week.
Mark Cuban would have said something.
Oh my God, yes. And I know he owns the team, which is a little different than team president, but I don't know. Phil, get our back.
Yeah.
Sasha writes, Are we done with are we up the Facebook questions?
Yeah, I was just trying to find the one where Rich wrote the list of Knicks books.
Okay, you can look for that. Sasha writes, there are rumors of it's one of the questions from today. There are rumors of Dolan can't imagine. There are rumors of Dolan can't imagine that all he likes.
I don't know what that means.
I think someone wrote somewhere else that there's a rumor of Dolan coming back to the team. I mean, like getting more involved.
Oh.
I don't know. Whatever.
Then we might be bad.
Yeah, then it wouldn't work out. Adam writes, just hoping that Melo will be traded by the time when you read that. Like you said many times, we need to rebuild and acquire as many picks as we can. Rob writes, how sick does it make you to watch the Sixers play so well and the Knicks be so bad? I think I contracted AIDS from this team screwing me so much.
I got it. So last episode we were asked for Knicks books, and we only knew of You Always Have Linsanity. But Ralph showed us a bunch of others. So there is When the Garden Was Eden, Alan Hahn's The Complete Illustrated History, The Open Man by Dave Debuscher, and Walt Frazier.
Debuscher?
Something.
Debuscher?
Walt Frazier's One Magic Season and a Basketball Life. Rocking Steady, A Guide to Basketball and Cool, which is also by Clyde.
There's another one, actually, just to interrupt, that I thought was really good. They left off the list. The Patrick Ewing story, the time I gave my all to our franchise and they left me on the scrap heap and won't let me even become the assistant coach there.
Surprised all that fit on the cover.
Yeah, it's a long cover.
And
the entire book is just like him with big middle fingers and then his stats going to the Knicks.
And the last one is A Sense of Where You Are by Bill Bradley. So thank you, Ralph.
It was also John Starks. I can't keep missing a playoff story.
Even though you took a stab at comic books at the end of your snarky comment, Ralph, I'll let you pass.
Okay. Josh writes, who would you rather get rid of first, Melo or Phil?
So close at this point. I'm so mad at Phil for the Noah contract.
I would say if Melo is not gone by the All-Star break, which is a possibility, then I want Phil gone first. I just don't think you're going to get rid of Phil mid-season, but after this year, I'm almost ready. I'm just ready to move on from Phil. I don't know necessarily. I don't know if he's the guy. Do you trust Phil to even trade Melo properly, or trust him to rebuild?
No, that Noah contract is the worst thing.
I mean, so Derek Fisher came out when he was talking about. He kind of gave. We talked about things. He said I probably got the coaching job too fast, and I really was inexperienced and didn't know what I was doing really. He basically said these in paraphrasing him that he just was very inexperienced. And I'd have to say, Phil probably should hopefully admit this one day that a lot of what he's done has been from inexperience. He's a great, legendary, greatest of all time coach, but his team president job as team president, he's doing a very mediocre job, if not worse.
Yeah.
Josh writes, also there have been rumors on what Phil is willing to receive for a trade with Melo, which have all been subpar at best. Don't you think we need to get something good at least, like a first-round picks and not washed-up old players?
Yes.
So I've heard that the Clippers can't give up a first-rounder until 2021.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Same with the Cavs. The Cavs, I think, can't until 2020, 2021.
So that's why you need the Celtics involved.
No, I mean, like, say, like, we made a deal with the Cavs and we got Tristan Thompson and, like, a 2021 draft pick. LeBron's going to be, like, 37 by then. That might be a really good draft pick.
Yeah, but that's a long time from now.
We're going to forget about it, and then all of a sudden we're going to be like, oh, my God, we got this awesome draft pick out of nowhere.
That's a pretty – I mean, people would be like – the backlash against that trade would be insane.
It would. But 5 years from now when we had a good roster, they'd be like, oh, okay.
I also think Tristan Thompson, Cleveland should want to keep him. I don't know what LeBron's doing as the team president there. Like, Tristan Thompson came out and goes, I earned my money. Why do you need him saying that? Why are you driving your – you won the title last year, LeBron. You have to go with the same team. Just give it up already. Just because you didn't get Durant in the offseason, stop crying like a baby.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron's alienated his teammates to the point where they're all, like, trying to justify their worth, which is not a good locker room thing.
You said that I'm sure Cleveland got your sign off when they signed it, when they brought him back. You pretty much. Oh God, Steven's now texting me.
Why? I looked at my phone.
I don't. Okay. Can you bump my 4chan threads? All you gotta do is post
all right.
them.
Stop.
Okay. Okay. Oh, what the? Can I block? I'm gonna block him. Stop sending me stuff, Steven.
Mark can't handle it, and we got to end the show.
I can't handle two things, okay? I'm moving on.
Knicks fan since Melo said Fisher should try to sleep with Phil's ex. It's only fair.
That seems about right. Do you think Derek Fisher's trying to sleep with Horny's daughter?
Probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him. He'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I feel like you need... First of all, Cleveland, Tristan Thompson plays defense. You might need that during the playoffs. Whatever. Do you think Cleveland also wants to? You think they would do that? I guess they would do that to get Melo. It seems like the Knicks. You're getting a 2021 draft pick. That really that's so far off.
It is. What else are you gonna do? Your options are very limited when the guy
Who
has.
gives the guy a no trade clause and a 15% kicker?
Yeah, that's another thing with Phil.
I think Phil didn't know this wasn't like a common practice. Josh writes, any chance we can fool the Thunder into taking Noah to cover Cantor? They did trade Harden. Solid point.
Do we want Cantor?
No, well, because Cantor's injured.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you'd have to take Cantor back, right?
Yeah. And Cantor's he doesn't start because he sucks on defense.
How many years does Cantor have left?
I don't know.
He must have a better contract. Paul writes, of the very few games we win in the what about Melo going to the Thunder? Or you think there's no chance Melo would go to Oklahoma?
I don't think he would go to Oklahoma.
Okay.
I don't know if Melo and Westbrook would play nice either.
Yeah, but I don't really care once they get there.
Right.
Melo and AI went really well. Paul writes, of the very few games we win this in the future, will they all come down to the wire? This team cannot keep a mother effing lead. Paul writes, other teams have point guards. Why can't we? Yet we got two in the offseason, and we hate them both.
Yeah, but they're really both shooting guards.
Yeah, Jennings is more of a point guard than Rose is, but they're both. Rose is just a shooting guard.
Yeah.
You could just make Courtney Lee the point guard in comparison to Rose.
I mean, they both assist about the same rate.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea of the 2-point guard lineup, though, is that making Rose more of the shooting guard and having a. I get at the argument because Rose ends up playing a shooting guard anyway. Just make him your shooting guard. It's just that the defense is so hard with the two of those guys on the court together. Yeah. Gillum writes, from now on, when the Knicks scout players, will they have to look if they are Muslim too? Just check if they'll be ineligible.
Yeah, I think Gorgie Dieng is worried about being able to play in NBA games.
It'd be great if that was the Knicks draft pick this year. They go in for like he's an all-world talent from Iran. Too bad he can't come here ever. He can only play when the Knicks do like exhibition games in London.
Right.
Ball writes, would you take Jennings' body in place of your own? Stays in shape for as long as you live, but you're a white dude, head, and a black body with all his bad tattoos. Mark, this is not a black dildo dick joke unless you want it to be.
No, that would be a little too weird.
Yeah, that'd be a little too weird. Plus, I'm already married, so I don't need to look good for anyone anymore.
Would you look good with your white head and Jennings' body? I don't know if I would consider that
really
looking
weird.
good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look like I was in shape, but
Yeah, if you kept like a full bodysuit on, so nobody could see how weird you look.
can I ball in the NBA? Because then I might do it.
I mean, I guess you'd have all the skills except, yeah, if you would have all the skills, I guess.
Except his bad decision making? Yeah, I'll do it. Paul writes, since the 90s, what Knicks player has the highest basketball IQ and the lowest? Is Brandon Jennings' problem more of an emotional IQ issue?
That's a good question. It could be. It seems like when he wants to, he knows how to pass, which is getting assists is more of a high IQ thing. Trying to think. High IQ, low IQ.
Low IQ's
high IQ was probably Jason Kidd.
Yeah,
I mean he was playing decent at like 40 for the Knicks. You need a high IQ to do that.
No, that's a very good answer. Low IQ. Do we want to go with Bargs?
I mean, there's so many. You could go Bargs. You could go Eddie Curry, Jerome James.
James is like he's got a stupid contract.
He didn't really know what he was doing either.
Yeah, but like you should have never gotten the contract in the first place.
Yeah.
Knicks have had a lot of low. I'm trying to think of who just like drove you insane. Well, J.R. Smith.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not like a low IQ individual. I'm sure he's a smart person. Who knows?
No,
but low IQ player, J.R. Smith is hands down. He's the Jason Kidd of the other side of the answer.
Right.
Paul writes, scared, excited, or both for that Porzingis dunk where he got laid out?
Oh, I was terrified.
Oh my God, terrified. I want to see more of that, but not like that. Not with Dwight Howard getting a free range and knocking him over.
Dwight would have been the most hated man in New York if that turned into an injury.
When's the last time people liked Dwight Howard?
Orlando.
Yeah. His career just nosedived after Orlando. In Orlando, he was fighting for like the play. He was fighting for like not the playoffs. He was fighting for a shot at like going to the finals every year.
Well, yeah, I mean they made the finals that one year.
Yeah, since then he's gone nowhere.
Yeah,
and they had a team they designed around him, and now he's like playing Atlanta, being like, I guess I'll play this out.
Yeah.
Paul writes, how motivated is Melo by his trade discussion? Maybe Phil can generate a rumor a week, but wait, we should be bad, right? And we're not selling high on Melo if we do at all, so whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you want to see Melo play well. Like you can't I don't actively root against the Knicks. I'm watching against Atlanta. I'd like to see them win. It's a hard thing watching your team. Like it's very painful watching your team when you know the best medicine is to lose and trade a player that's playing pretty well. Who are you typing to? I heard you typing.
God, I was typing to my buddy Joel. He's messing.
Why? He's not even involved. What did Joel tell you? What did he say to you about the Knicks?
He was talking to me about the Timberwolves. 4th time in 8 games versus the Magic where it's going to overtime.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. This is great for our show. Glad you're typing back to him. You want to call your mom during the show also?
I already texted her. Are we almost done with the questions?
We're almost done. Gillen writes, if the Knicks have decided that Melo era is over, does that also mean Rose won't be resigned? Yes. Rose is not coming back if Melo's gone. Gillen writes, if the Knicks decide to tank, how many wins do you predict they would end up? Looking at the current standings in win percentage, that pick would have any chance you get the top 3. You got to win the lottery to get top. I mean, literally you have to win the lottery to get the top 3. But the Knicks are going to probably top out at like the 7th or 8th seed in the as far as like the lottery. So they need to get lucky in the lottery.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to start tanking like right now. We're only 5 games out of a top 3 pick.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I
I know we're only like 2.5 games out of the 8th seed. But again, do you really want to get swept by the Cavs? And also, we have to leapfrog 3 teams. It's not as close as it seems when there's like 3 teams between us and the playoff spot.
Yeah. You imagine teams are going to play better as they get to the playoffs. Yeah. Gillum writes, trade proposal. We use big salaries to eat a bad contract. We get a young pass first and defensive point guard. Could we get that pick too? And the trade is Derrick Rose to the Timberwolves for Ricky Rubio and Pekovic. And the Timberwolves want to do this so bad they give you a draft pick too.
I feel like Pekovic might retire.
Even better.
Well, better, but I feel like knowing
Right,
that the Timberwolves wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So Pekovic has 1 more year left, and Rubio has 2 more years after this.
I mean, I know he's such a bad shooter that it's a detriment to his team, but he's a really good defender and a really good passer. And I guess
they haven't exactly been winning anything with him. So
no, but if you have the right roster around him, I mean, it's kind of like a Rondo type of player, and Boston made it work for years. Also, Rubio tonight is shooting 6 for 9 from the 3, so maybe he's getting better.
Rubio spelled Rubio. Who are you reading?
He's 6 for 9 from the 3-point line.
Holy crap!
With 8 rebounds and 8 assists.
Are you sure they just didn't mix up like him and like Wiggins?
No, I haven't been reading all my messages unlike you, and my buddy has been saying that him and Peyton have been going back and forth with threes.
Okay. Sean writes, who all still wants to give up Melo for marshmallows?
We never
Gillen
wanted
writes,
to give him up for marshmallows, but we do want to give him up.
No, I said he resembled a marshmallow, but Gillen writes, I read it, and he doesn't, so don't kill me for that. Gillen writes, I read and listened to a lot of comments of Knicks fans. This team is so bad, trade everybody but KP and such things. But then they moan that we never have continuity, which you need to build a team, just impatience or what?
No, because we always have these patchwork, like, aging, overrated guys. If we had a bunch of young guys, then we could keep them all. Like,
Yeah.
The whole point is we want a group of young guys and develop them all at the same time, all together. Part of the reason that we keep turning the roster over is because half our guys are already over 30 when we get them.
Yeah. You know who started against us in the Atlanta game? Timmy Hardaway. Not exactly an all-star, but, like, he's looking decent. He's developing. We need more guys like that.
Yeah, and we weren't exactly destroying him on defense, so maybe he improved on that end of the floor.
But we had to get rid of him so fast. Because if you're not immediately an all-star, we have to get rid of you.
Right.
Though I have to say, Jerry and Grant's not looking that great in Chicago right now. But it's still like,
Who is, though?
yeah. What was there? They're in, like, talk about turmoil there also.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, like, not even giving a crap anymore.
Miratek looks like he's washed up. I don't know what happened to him.
Didn't Rondo call out the players for, like complaining? Like, back in Boston, we didn't call players to complain like this. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
Yeah.
Gillen writes, we trade terrible contracts, but Deng is better suited to the roster. We get a young point guard, too. Here's his next contract. He proposes Noah and Anthony to the Lakers for Luol Deng, Jordan Clarkson, and Jose Calderon. Okay, Calderon has only 1 year left, so they don't care about that. They're not taking Joakim Noah back.
Not with Mozgov on there.
I mean, they're not.
You
taking
can't have
him.
Noah and Mozgov on that team.
Come on.
If we're trading Noah to the Lakers, we're getting Mozgov.
Was he not included in that?
No.
It wasn't. Yeah. And Jordan Clarkson they're giving to us? Why are they giving away Jordan Clarkson?
I don't know. Was
Has he
Melo
been that
included in
bad?
that trade?
Yeah, it was Melo and Noah.
Well,
The
yeah.
idea being they would so be enticed by getting Melo that Clarkson's a pretty good asset. I still think they're going to want. I think you're going I don't think they're going to want to take Noah in that deal.
Well, the
And
thing
also-
is, the Lakers are doing a rebuild, so they don't want a guy past his prime.
Gillen writes, Gillen's got a lot of questions tonight. What do you think of Boston and the interest they may have in getting Melo? I'm sure they'd give the Nets pick for young stars like George, Cousins, or Butler, but it won't be available. Won't be available with a new CBA. But they won't be available with the new CBA. What would they give for Melo, who can rise them above Toronto or closer to the Cavs? Would they rather give picks or good players like Crowder for example? Because if they really want to compete, they should try to keep the team together.
Well, from what I read, that the Celtics are looking for rebounding and defense.
Oh, the two things he can rebound, but Noah, take Noah instead. Noah plays rebounds and plays defense, kind of. I think the issue with Boston is that they said the contract is just like too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you have to how much you have to pay Melo next year, I think is good. It limits what they can do.
Right.
Though I feel like they should do the trade because why not? Gillen writes, "What kind of package from the Clippers would you be happy with?" We're almost done here. Would it be good enough for Melo for Rivers, Redick, and Wesley Johnson, and then trading Redick to someone like OKC for their first round pick?
Yes.
If you could do those two things together, I would do it.
Yeah.
Austin Rivers looks pretty good. Gillen writes, Melo played very well today. Is he trying harder to show top teams he can actually help them when he wants?
No, I think he's streaking and he's on a hot streak.
Yeah, you think it's just more coincidence than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's some pride factor here, though.
Oh, definitely. I think Melo does this. He gets hot for a month and then he cools off a little bit and then he gets hot again. That's what he's been the last 6 years.
I mean, you can't. He's like earlier in the year when he wasn't playing well, or wasn't playing at this good. He was just not caring, and the pride wasn't there. It's just that, yeah, you're right. He's streaky. Dower writes, "Here's the thing: we actually like Melo, but he took the money, which limited the team's options going forward, and he doesn't look fully fit. If he slimmed down and was on a lesser contract, he'd be unbelievable. Surely we can't load up again on Rose and suffer the same fate. Have max contracts ruin the NBA?" Jay?
I think Melo wears a lot of padding. He wears like rib pads, so I think it makes him look doughier than he is.
Yeah.
I think he is in good shape. I do agree with the fact that, he forced a trade, which got rid of some assets, and then he signed a max contract, which also killed some of our flexibility. So, I mean, I try and get paid as much as I can from my job too. On the other hand,
Hey, giant executive at my big company I work for, I'm going to take a little bit less this year because I want to help with flexibility going forward.
Well,
it's really like it's the management job to make the real decisions. That's why you get paid, to make the decisions. If you didn't like the deal Melo was offering you, don't take it.
right. Yeah, I mean the no trade and the kicker and even just the max. Like, was he really going to go to Chicago if you offered him like $25 million a year?
I mean, what if what if like his contract said, you have to bring in a young zebra for me to ride into every game, and the Knicks are like, well, the issue is we can't trade the whole zebra thing. Well, don't sign the zebra contract.
Right.
Like, just don't sign something that's absurd, and then complain about it later.
Like if Chicago can offer $23 million a year, you go, all right, 23.5. We're still offering you $500,000 more a year.
Yeah, it just at some point you had to go hey, we're willing to lose Melo. We can't set ourselves up to be in this bad of a contract.
Mm-hmm.
What could he have hold out for like a no trades clause, plus he gets like as soon as Phil marries Jeannie, he gets the first night with her.
Right.
And that's why the divorce it's part of the contract we don't really know about. And that's why they broke off the engagement, because I just can't have Melo do you.
Or maybe he didn't tell her about that part.
Alan writes, hopefully Melo is traded and Phil leaves in the summer, but I fear Isaiah Thomas will come back to trade everything and abuse the female employees of the Garden. Oh, Isaiah abusing the female employees of the Garden. The good old days. Alan writes, also, if Melo goes, we ain't get Hall for him. Probably true. Alan writes, man, I checked the Liberty Wiki. It's also at some point you want to get. You're not going to get a value for him anymore. It's more about moving on from him and getting something for him that's decent.
Yep.
Alan writes, I checked the Liberty wiki page. Herb Williams is an assistant coach on that team. Will he ever leave the Garden, or will he be buried there?
I love Herb.
Andrew writes, did your heart skip a beat when Porzingis hit the ground hard after dunking on Dwight?
Skip 3 beats.
Last question. Trade proposal from Gillum. Bulls want to get rid of Mirotic and of Rondo too, for sure. We eat Rondo's contract, but Bulls have their pick and the Kings' first top 10 protected. Thoughts? Could we get some of those picks for that? And this is Noah and Rose back to the Bulls. No, I was kidding. It's Melo for Rondo and Mirotic.
Oof, that's like really bad. We need both of those picks.
Well, the thing is, Mirotic runs out after this year. So he's expired.
Yeah, are you gonna? I mean,
and Rondo is got 1 year left.
Yeah, but we're saying trade Melo, but we're not saying trade Melo for absolute trash.
Oh no, I'm just pointing out what you're actually getting. So you're getting 1 year of Rondo, basically. You have to get more, obviously. I feel like if you got the,
you need both of those picks and maybe even a third pick.
You think so?
Yeah, that's a really crappy package.
You were going to take a 2021 pick from Cleveland, yet you won't take one top 10 pick?
You said top 10 protected.
Oh. No, but they have the Kings top 10 protected.
Right.
No,
Top
I'm
10
saying,
protected
yeah.
means you don't get a top 10 pick.
But what happens next year?
I don't know.
Does it lose the protection?
I don't know. Usually it's like I don't know how this one's structured, but usually like next year to be top 15 or top 20. You know, it gets worse and worse each time.
What if you just get the Bulls pick? The Bulls pick is going to be around 12 or 13, let's say. So it'll get worse. It'll get Melo will hopefully, you think, make the Bulls better. So it'd be like a 15th pick, and that's not that great of a pick.
No. Like I said, you'd need a third pick.
Who else would you want? Who else would you want from the Bulls to make that worthwhile?
I don't really want anybody on the Bulls anymore. I looked. Gibson is like 30, 31.
I don't know if we need more bigs back anyway.
Yeah, their guard situation's a complete mess. Jimmy Butler looks like a jerk.
I would take Butler back, but just because Rose would have a, it at least would make contract negotiating with Rose very easily, because Rose would be like, "Oh, Butler's here. I'll see you later."
Yeah, exactly. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. I started up the player power rankings again, and Eric is still doing the game recap, so you can check those out on the New York Knicks Podcast.com.
What did we learn today?
There's also shirts there, so if you want to support the podcast, the stuff isn't cheap, so you can go on there, pick up some shirts. They're high quality. They look good. At NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is the email. And check out almightyballer.com. Almost every single... Actually, he did it. There is now a podcast for every single team.
Oh, wow. He's been working overtime.
He is. Chris has been working hard. Actually, no. There is 25 are up, and there's 5 coming very, very soon.
Oh. Well, it's pretty good still.
Yeah. Okay. So what did we learn? I think we all learned where we finally stand on Melo, and that we're not totally hating on the guy. We're just looking at the future of the franchise.
Yeah. We also learned that we still have Melo. We still have the team's playing okay, not terrible. They won 2 games this week. I guess it's a happy week. That was a happy episode.
Yeah, for us, that was a very positive episode.
Oh my God! It's like we can't even get to the goddamn All-Star break with like happiness. We can't like fall apart like that. I dream of a Knicks team that can fall apart post All-Star break, so we can make it to February without being in total chaos. End the show, Jay.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back next Sunday. We record on just about every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to tune in live, you can go to ustream.tv/channel/Knicks-podcast. And if you hit follow, you'll get an email every time we go live. All right. And if you want to leave a voicemail, 631-676-1181, or you could Skype us at The Brink of Sanity. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
I've switched a lot of things in my life, but it's never worked out. I switched to being a vegetarian, but ate more bacon than ever. Every time I switch lines at the grocery store, I never pick the fast one. But one thing that totally worked out is I switched to Metro PCS and got a free Samsung Galaxy.
Make the right switch too. Move to Metro PCS and get a free Samsung Galaxy J7 with a huge 5.5-inch screen. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Plus sales tax. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details, terms, and conditions.